What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys, of course, because we're going to be taking a look at one of this channel's biggest aspirations. One of my favorite archetypes in the game. We're going to be taking a look at Harpies. And I'm going to be talking about my long history with the Harpie archetype. I guess we'll start it off just before pre-Yu-Gi-Oh! 2009, where I really got myself involved in the game. The Harpie archetype was one of my favorites because I was a big fan of the series itself, despite the fact that the dub is horrible. What really dragged me on into the series was, of course, the introduction of one of the sassiest female duelists in the game, My Valentine, who I feel um, is very loved by the community of not only Harpie players but also just the Yu-Gi-Oh community in general. I don't think it's just, well, half of it is sex appeal, half of it happens to be the factor that a lot of people love the archetype that she runs. People love Harpies. There are people who love Amazonas. I don't have anything negative to say about Amazonas at all. I think in contrast to the Harpie archetype, the Amazonas kind of makes up itself for what Harpies lacked, and that's a lot of strong monster presence in an actual boss monster, and the fact that they have a lot of utility within a lot of their own offense and defense, which I feel Harpies kind of lack, sadly enough. And even after all these years, we don't have a boss monster. We don't have that one particular monster to unify all monsters. That even includes Harpie Sisters and Harpie's Pet, because Chandler can't summon sisters. She can relay setups to summon Harpie Lady Sisters, but she can't summon sisters. And then in the same sense, Elegant Egotist can't rely on Pet Dragon to summon Harpie Ladies from the deck either. And I feel like we need a combination of that in the deck. Like, we need a monster that can set itself as the boss monster and then do things that will relegate for all the Harpie cards to work in unison. And I feel like it's such a missed opportunity. It really is. Maybe in the future we'll get that. But throughout the years of 2009 to 2013, when Harpie Chandler, Hysteric Sign, and Phantasmal Dragon were released, it was a very dark period for me playing Harpies because there really wasn't much you could fit into the deck itself. Outside of Queen, Harpie Lady 1, and the Cyber Harpie Lady, your advances were pretty much a combination of any wind monster you can get your hands on, any wind support that was viable, and then tuners, which Harpies don't have a tuner at all. We still don't have a tuner or a synchro monster at this point. Would it be nice to have them? Yeah, especially considering the fact Master Rule 4 is going to get its revision in April. I feel like it was one of those things Harpies missed out on during that time period, because the only thing we got in that time period was literally Cyber Shield, which we know where that falls in the category of cards to be used in the deck. Miss Valley Soldier, Miss Valley Shaman, Blackwing Guild of Whirlwind, Zephyros the Elite. Two various sets of Winged Beast archetypes that did fit well with Harpies in terms of having access to tuner monsters, having access to monsters that were also Winged Beast, and then it's the combination of Wind and Dark helped, because of course we did have Samorg, we had Dark Samorg, who came out in Stardust Overdrive, which wasn't a bad call to the deck itself because it gave Harpies not only a chance to regulate into a boss monster, but you also had access to Anti-Spell, which is an old favorite of some Harpie players at that time, because it was a great way to slow down a heavy spelled situation. I feel like it was such a missed opportunity at times then, because I could have built a lot of really good wind decks and really just advice from there. But I feel also in that same sense, there's a lot of decks I could have played. It's just the money wasn't together. Even now, when you look at it, cards are like just ridiculously overpriced or ridiculously just hard to obtain. So at that point, it just stretches of how much of a money game this game really is, what people don't want to talk about that. Then we do talk about Lord of Tachyon Galaxy and the inclusion of the newer Harpie cards. Because we also have to take it back and set to Cosmo Blazer because of the fact that... Was it Cosmo Blazer? Yeah, it was Cosmo Blazer because right before Tachyon came out, Lightning Chidori was released. And a lot of people loved Chidori because Chidori was a card that people felt was the card that helped Harpies market themselves. You know, having the ability to summon multiple level 4 monsters, having a range of monsters in the deck to fit onto the set of Tachyon coming out, the ability to summon more Harpy monsters thanks to Chandler, Hysteric Sign's ability to get Egotist, and then having access to our first extra deck monster in the form of Phantasmal Dragon. Now, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Chidori because Chidori is and still is one of the most reliable rank 4 monsters that Harpies have access to. Just as a good blow away card, just as a good standalone, just as a monster that people, when you see Chidori, you fear what Chidori is going to do, whether it's sending set cards back to the deck or getting rid of face-up cards. In that same sense, you have Castell, who came later on, and Ice Beast, Zero Fine, who came in the same set as Tachyon. And boy, was she a beast. Like, that was an amazing thing. I have a lot of those cards in this lineup as well. You had a lot of access to just rank 4s in general. And the range was just bananas on how the range was for 4s. Even stacking Utopias to get Utopia Array. We can do that now with Lightning. You had the rank 7s, which, thanks to Chandler plus Dragon, that was accessible. Like a Phantom Beast, Draco Sag, number 11, Big Eye. You gave Dragons a run for their money too, just because we had access to a Dragon in the form of Tempest. But Tempest has always been a wild card for Harpy players because of the fact that, in my opinion, I think Tempest is a bad choice for a Harpy deck to play, especially because you want your graveyard to have access to a lot of its Harpy monsters. You could try losing none of your non-Harpy wind monsters or dragons, but then at that same point, is it worth the summon of Tempest? Because then you looked at all the other dragon monsters, all the dragon rulers at that point, and Blaster still kind of beat out Tempest in attack. Redox beat him in defense, and then in terms of effects, outside of grabbing tuner monsters that were outside dragon monsters, the only real thing is that Harpies did not need Tempest in terms of all the other things. Because we didn't have a dragon we wanted to have in our hand. We wanted that dragon on the field. Even if you used some of the Dragunity tuners, the only real access you had with them was to help Channeler become 7, and then at that point, you had a range. Your range and Synchro weren't too predominantly good, because like Crimson Blader, Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust Spark Dragon, Red Jewel Dragon Archfiend. You couldn't get into any 7s because Chandler was too high of a level. So you can make, the typical monsters of Ancient Fairy Dragon, Black Rose, and stuff like that. But you had the range of 9 and up, as long as those monsters didn't require additional monsters outside of the 1. And then you reach on, you have Joey's World, giving us Dancer, which was a great addition to it, because I think that's when the Harpy deck really started to flourish. Chandler Dancer's inclusion in Hysteric Sign. You had Harpie Harpist, who came later for her discard. You had Perfumer and Oracle, giving Harpy Sisters a chance to be back in the main deck. Even if they're not in the main deck, you had access to monsters who can retrieve and search for cards that specifically list their name in their text. So you had more ability to search, which I feel like Harpies lack so much of in terms of draw power. We don't have draw outside of Feather Rest. And I feel like if Feather Rest came as this part of Avarice, where is the additional cards that would be archetype exclusive to be more than just search and draw, or pot of Avarice and draw? Because I feel like at that point, you want your key pieces back. You have to be very careful which ones you get, and remember that you're locked under a wind summon, which is perfectly fine. But for some players, they rather use cards like Card of Demise or Card Destruction. I feel Card of Demise is very likely, and Card Destruction actually was more viable if you could manage the hand. If the hand was not manageable, then it's kind of one of those X outs. Then we did get Conductor, and I feel Conductor, although she has a good defensive game, she doesn't have a really good offensive game. But then I look at cards like Torrential Tribute, Dark Hole, and that kind of just changes my opinion of her offensive defensive game. It's just that a lot of players were salty because she wasn't the monster that they wanted. And in that sense, guys, it's been 20 years. They've never really given us, outside of Harpie, Chandler, Hysteric Sign, they really haven't given us much of what we wanted. So we just have to take with what we can get and just make the use of what we have. And my overall thing over the last few years, I have, besides being beaten the stone through the comment sections, I honestly think that the Harpie archetype itself has a good flow to itself, but it needs so much more work. And I would love to see it have so much more work after the last 10 years of just trying to strive to build and build and work and work. You know, I like to see more, especially because this is my favorite archetype of all the archetypes. Like, I have a lot of favorite archetypes, but this is the one that holds stone to me. And like I said, in the future, if more stuff comes, more videos will be released, and more videos will be, of course, judged, and more videos will be there. And I'm not honestly going to stray away from Harpies, because they are technically the channel's big bread and butter. Besides, there's not much bread made. But I think at that point, the history lesson itself relies on what you guys will see in terms of the cards that I will present. So I'm going to give you guys a nice long lineup of every card I've used for the Harpie archetype in the Harpie deck that I've made over the years. Actually, that's why I have to give this some room. Alright, so I'll start off with the Harpie monsters and the Harpie spells. Well, the Harpie lineup itself. That consists of monsters. So Harpie Lady 1, Cyber Harpie Lady, Harpie Lady Sisters, Harpie Queen, Harpie Channeler, Harpie Harpist, Harpie Dancer, Harpie Perfumer, Harpie Oracle, Harpie Conductor, Harpie's Pet Dragon, Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon, and Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. And that is my lineup of the monsters. No, there are no notable mentions because I do not use Harpie Lady 2 and 3. Alright, then. For the spells, Elegant Egotist, Harpie's Feather Duster, Triangle Ecstasy Spark, Harpie's Hunting Ground, Hysteric Sign, Alluring Mirror Split, Harpie's Feather Rest, and Harpie Lady Phoenix Formation. It's funny because the only other card that's missing from this lineup happens to be Cyber Shield. And for obvious reasons why that's not here. And then, of course, the big three, the trap cards, Harpie's Featherstorm, Hysteric Party, Harpie Lady Elegance. Hold on, my camera's off. And then I'm off as well. Alright, so we have the lineup of all the Harpie monsters. Now let's get into the lineup of all the monsters and stuff that I've used over the years to correspond with them. So for the main deck monsters, and here are some very questionable ones, but because of where they were during the time period, that's where they fall. Flying Kamakiri number 1. Barrier Statue of Stormwind, Garuda the Wind Spirit, Swift Birdman Joe, Elector the Sovereign of Birds, Ryza the Storm Monarch, Samorg Bird of Divinity, Samorg Bird of Ancestry, Dark Samorg, Windrose the Elemental Lord, Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, Miss Valley Shaman, Miss Valley Soldier, Summoner Monk, Dragoon the Darkspear, Tempest the Dragon Ruler of Storms, Lightning the Dragon Ruler of Drafts, Genex Ally Birdman, what's your name? Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon, Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon, Hand Traps, Effect Veiler, Ghost Reaper, and Winter Cherries, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, Ghost Belle and Haunted Mansion, Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood, Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, what is your name? Artifact Lancia, Artifact Scythe, Tour Guide from the Underworld, Rescue Rabbit, Doom Caliber Knight, Thunder King Ryo, Plex Rider Zombie, Krebins, Mask of Darkness, Magician of Faith, and Sagan. Honorable mentions are Maxi, who's banned, and of course Dandelion, Spore, and Global. Alright, so that is the long array of monsters. I do have Global, Spore in them, but I cannot find them. I don't have Dandelion. And I do have Max C, but I do not feel like looking for stuff right now because my table and desk and stuff is already crowded with cards. Alright, so we moved the monsters out of the way. Let's go to the extra deck monsters. ISP-05, Castel, the Skyblast Musketeer, Tornado Dragon, Utopia Ray, Utopia Lightning, Daggerstone Emerald, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, Gaga Cowboy, Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, Big Eye, Utopia Double, Harmonizing Gandelia, Babuska, Fighting Daruma Wendy the Wind Charmer Verdant, and Mevalis. There are some inclusions, of course, Stardust, Trishula, and a good rank of generic synchro monsters. And then Vortex the Whirlwind, but we don't talk about Vortex. Alright, then we go into the large array of spells. And this is a large array of spells, I'm not gonna lie. Gear Town, Set Rotation, Swallow's Nest, Phalanx Pike, Symbols of Heritage, Divine Wind of the Mist Valley, Double or Nothing, Quill Pin of Guldos. What is this? Interrupting Kaiju Slumber, Kaiju monsters included. Mystical Space Typhoon, Fusion, Metal Foes Fusion, Raigeki, Zone, Monster Reborn, Card Destruction, Dark Hole, Call by the Grave, Foolish Burial, Upside Goblin, Terraforming. My Body as a Shield, Swords of Concealing Light. I also think it's here as well. Yes, it is. Swords of Revealing Light, Magic Planner, Instant Fusion, Forbidden Land, Smashing Ground, Lightning Vortex, Fissure, Field Barrier, Upside Goblin, Mage Power, Brain Control, Nobleman Crossout, Nobleman Extermination, Book of Moon. So that is the spells. And then, of course, the large array of traps. Because you thought spells were heavy and crazy. Here comes the trap lineup. Vigorous Attack, Powerful Rebirth, Ghost in Match, including Rifle Warlords, Magical Hats, Breakthrough Skills, Skill Prisoner, Red Reboot, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, Infinity Impermanence, Torrential Tribute, and Lost Wind. Imperial Customs, Dimensional Prison, Trap Stun, Mirror Force, Storming Mirror Force, Fiendish Chain, Eradicating Epidemic Virus, Dead Devastation Virus, Crush Card Virus, Sagaratsu Armor, Blast with Chain, Dark Bribe, and Magic Cylinder. So yeah, that is a large portion of the cards that I have used with Harpies over the years. That's all the Harpie cards. Any regrets? No. None. None. No regrets. None at all. Just, I played what I played what I had, and I enjoyed what prospered. I mean, some of my favorite inclusions of the Harpie deck in terms of cards were a lot of the weird, random, and crazy combos that were created just simply because the Harpie archetype at the time between Lord of Tachyon Galaxy and, I want to say, 2007, because I believe that's when the Lord of the Storm Structure came out. And that was literally just me trying to build a Harpie deck off of everything and anything I could. Because I used so much stuff. I built so many things. And some of those decks, I was like, why did I build this? Like, I built a Chaos variation of Harpies. That didn't go too well. I tried to stick in, what was it? Zodiac. That didn't go well. Because I'll be honest, like I told a lot of people, some things just don't match with this deck well. I would have included True King, True Draco, but I never finished the deck fully, so I couldn't include that. And then when I did get the Masterpiece was banned, and most of the other cards were hit to 1. So I did not want to invest in anything that was going to not be beneficial. Couldn't do Pendulum because we didn't have any Pendulum monsters. Actually, Pendulum was already restricted to only Pendulum monsters and monsters who had archetypes built around the Pendulum. Unless you were Miss Valley Apex Avion, but that was a whole different story because that monster is just broken. yeah, just like that's the large array of things that just built up for where I was. Um, just a couple of final thoughts and final recollections. Um, I honestly just want to thank a good portion of the Harpie player community for not only your inclusion in a lot of your positive feedback, but just a lot of the things that you guys wanted to help see within the channel, and just a lot of the things that I'm be working on to help you guys as well. I think for the most part, when it came to this channel overall, I just wanted to build Harpie decks and I just wanted to show them off. I didn't really think it would pop off as much as it did, and a lot of you guys do enjoy a lot of my segments where I talk about a lot of these things, and I think that's honestly where I fall now. Is just instead of me feeling afraid to want to hear myself think, I just wanted to look at a lot of the aspirations of where I take a deck and I can look through various deck profiles and get inspiration for, and not feel like I have to play specific cards because someone else plays them. And I think that's also where a lot of the community itself gets a lot of it's like that is one of the things in the community is if someone says they don't play this particular card, I think at a point just let them be. And when it comes to people's on deck construction, you don't know exactly what they're playing in terms of outside the metagame. We don't know what Rogue is always like, and even if Rogue is questioned, we don't know what that player has to deal with on its own basis. Whether he or she has to deal with those bases. Never be afraid of trying out new things as well. And if you try it out and it doesn't work for you, you can always just go back to what you originally know. So, with that said and done, you guys, I think I will wrap up this video here. So, in celebration of the 10 years this channel has been, I want to just say thank you to all of you who have been sticking around for this 10 years. And I really do enjoy all of you guys' love and support. So, thanks everybody for being here, and I will catch you guys next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.